If you're expecting some kind of inspirational keynote speech about leadership, forget it. My task in the next 45 minutes is to convince you that leadership is difficult. Because it is. If anyone tells you, here are the 3 key behaviors of leaders, here are the 5 things you need to do to be an effective leader, forget it. It's snake oil. Why does leadership matter? What's very clear from about the last 140 years of research is that effective leadership, it affects performance. Well-led teams do better than not well-led teams. Well-led organizations do better than not well-led organizations. So we're going to be focused on this question, why should anyone be led by you? It's quite different from this question. Why should anyone be managed by you? Much easier. I'm a senior vice president, you're a vice president. Do what you're told. I'm an executive vice president, you're a senior vice president. Do what you're told. I'm a partner, you'll never make it. Much easier. So first, rather radical thought of the morning, leadership is a profoundly non-hierarchical concept. And our failure to distinguish between leadership and hierarchy has vitiated much of the last 100 years of research on leadership. This is not the same as saying everyone can be a leader. Not everyone can be a leader. It's the Nietzschean concept of will, volition. If you really, really want to be a leader, you have a chance. If you don't really want to be a leader, you have no chance. Here's a simple definition of leadership. Effective leadership excites people to exceptional performance. In business, exceptional performance is not a luxury, it's a survival technique. We can think about leadership in at least 3 ways. But the first is individuals. That we've forgotten that individuals make a big difference. It's become a truism, hasn't it, in HR to say people are our most important asset. Yes, I agree. But not all people are equal. Some people have the capacity to add disproportionate amounts of value. If Lionel Messi is in your football team, make sure he's well led. This man can change the game in 20 seconds. Biggest return on your leadership investment? Your team. So let me be momentarily optimistic and say that by the end of this Congress, you are equipped to lead more effectively on a consistent basis by 15%. 15%. Not 100. Miracles take a little longer. If you could lead 15% better on a consistent basis, what impact would it have on the performance of your organization? Small, medium, or large? Large. Well, we can do that, can't we? And then finally, and this is where hierarchy does matter, whether you like it or not, you are the leadership face of your organization. Trust indices in the Western world, and I'm defining Western in an odd way here, everywhere touched by capitalism, are at an all-time low. We don't trust our lawyers. We don't trust our accountants. They shred documents. We don't trust our bankers. They just poured away our pension plans. We don't trust our politicians. And increasingly, we don't trust our business leaders. That's a real crisis. Leadership in short supply. I spend quite a lot of my time with chief executives. And I often say to them, Madam Chief Executive, what is your biggest problem? They say, do you know what my biggest problem is, Gareth? There aren't enough leaders around here. There aren't enough people who excite others to exceptional performance. I said, don't worry. I can fix that for you. Won't take me long. Be very, very expensive, but don't worry. And then I look inside their organizations, and what do I find? Structures and cultures which kill leadership. So we have a leadership deficit. We want it, but we kill it. We research it, but we don't understand it. We've been asking the wrong questions. We've been asking who makes it to the top. Very interesting question. Doesn't tell us anything about leadership. Leadership's profoundly non-hierarchical concept. Would you like to know who makes it to the top? I'll show you the first line. About half of you will be really happy. First children, especially first sons, massively overrepresented at the top of organizations. We've also been asking the question, what do those at the top think? So when you get to the airport or you look at the shelf of books in the business library, most of them are like that. Learn to lead like Richard Branson, free sweater enclosed. Learn to lead like Bernard Tapie, free testosterone implants. The 157 books called How to Become Jack Welch. I'm fed up with them. They don't work. This doesn't work. We in Central HR Leadership Development Unit have been monitoring you carefully. We think you should become more like Jack Welch. What do you think her chances of success are? Zero. You don't become a more effective leader by becoming more like someone else. No, that's not to say you couldn't learn from Jack Welch's book. It's very good. Lou Gerstner's book on IBM, very good. You can't learn to be Lou Gerstner. He spent a lifetime on it. Now, ability to work with a variety of people, because this worries me very much about Western Europe. In Western Europe, we're doing the exact opposite. We send clever people to school with other clever people. And when they lead clever schools, we send them to elite universities where they mix with very clever people. And if they're still clever at the end of it, we send them to elite business schools like London Business School and IE and INSEAD. Well, guess what they end up being good at? Working with clever people. There's a kind of bourgeois bubble, isn't there, encircling the globe. Those aren't rich and diverse experiences. And then that's that word early. Early. Early experience of leadership. This doesn't mean throwing people in the deep end. It means exposure to leadership with a safety net. Really effective. For those of you who've had experience in the armed forces, you'll know that that's exactly what the armed forces do. A better question might be, what do followers want? Community. They want to be part of something. The marketing team, the HR team, the Cisco team, the software team. So you could argue that in Western Europe, the things we used to identify with are getting weaker. Class, church, political party. They are all weaker sources of affiliation. Followers want significance. They want their leader to recognize the contribution they make to the whole. I've had HR colleagues who've said, don't give praise, they'll want a bigger bonus. What a dreadful, impoverished way of looking at the world. Followers want excitement, inspiration, and finally, they want authenticity. They want to be led by a real person who they can trust. And there's some really surprising things about real people. They cry. They bleed. They lose their tempers. I sometimes do all three simultaneously. Here comes the first rather difficult part of the morning. By the way, this says exciting, not exiting. How will they feel when you get back to work after the Congress? Will they do this? Oh, great news, team. Patrick's back from the Congress. Good news, Patrick's back. He's going to come back with lots of great new ideas. Or will they do this? Oh, no. Patrick's back. Oh, I wish the Congress could have gone on longer. I wonder what he'll be moaning about this week. Are you a source of energy to your team, or are you a drain on energy? Are you a positron or a negatron? Do you give people energy, or do you take it away? Are you authentic? Do you take your real self to work? Or do you save it for home? Whether you like it or not, you will spend the bulk of your adult waking life at work. It better be a place where you can be yourself. Because if it isn't, you will lose yourself. If you want to be a more effective leader, be yourself more with skill in context. Now, you would think that clever people could remember 5 words, wouldn't you? They can't remember 5 words. We know because we asked them. What do you remember about leadership? Oh, remember leadership. Be yourself. So they go back to the team and they say, great news, team. I've found the answer to great leadership. I'm going to be myself. Team says, oh, no. We sent him to Harvard to be cured. He's come back exactly the same. Sometimes it's worse. They always forget the last 2 words. With skill. Practice, practice, practice. Effective leadership is a skillful, authentic role performance. It's a skillful, authentic role performance with the capacity to transform organizations and enrich lives. It's always difficult, but it's well worth a try. Thank you very much. Thank you.